relative to gold, silver's cheap. That's why I buy silver.
Right.
Silver gets to 20 or 30 to 1 on gold. I'll be selling silver and buying gold. But silver literally exploded yesterday. It was up over $1 an ounce. It crossed $27, and it's a breakout. And after a short correction, I think silver is going to go much higher.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In the financial market, silver has been making headlines with a sharp increase in prices, up by over 10% in just 1 week. This surge has pushed silver to levels not seen since 2021, with prices crossing the $27 mark. While gold has also performed well, trading at all-time highs of $2,130 per ounce, its gains have been comparatively modest at just over 4%. The recent rally in silver has caught the attention of investors, particularly in light of growing concerns about the U.S. banking sector. According to Bob Moriarty, the founder of 321gold.com, a major crisis is looming in the banking industry, which could have catastrophic consequences. Moriarty warns that a ticking time bomb is hanging over U.S. banks, and when it goes off, it could wipe out tens of billions of dollars almost overnight. He attributes the increased interest in precious metals to investors bracing for this impending crisis. Moriarty is especially bullish on silver, which he believes is significantly undervalued relative to gold. He predicts that the gold-to-silver ratio, currently over 80.1, could drop dramatically to as low as 20.1.
Love silver. I own a lot of silver, but
Me too.
silver bugs are nuttier than a shit house rat. Okay, they're just absolutely crazy. Anybody that's followed gold, silver, the S&P, Dow, corn, wheat, lumber, anything, nothing goes down faster than silver. When silver tops, it falls right off a cliff. And of course, silver bugs get caught every single time. There are guys who are considered gurus who are saying in 2000 that if the United States ever got into another war, silver being the most critical war metal would go to $50 to $100 an ounce all by itself. Nothing else would go up, just silver. So let's see. We had Iraq, we had Syria, we had Afghanistan, we've got Gaza, we've got
Russia.
I mean, silver should be like $500 an ounce right now.
Right.
And I do own silver. I mean, I buy things because they're cheap. And if you look at the gold-silver ratio, it's about around 90 to 1. Relative to gold, silver's cheap. That's why I buy silver.
Right.
Silver gets to 20 or 30 to 1 on gold. I'll be selling silver and buying gold. But silver literally exploded yesterday. It was up over $1 an ounce. It crossed $27, and it's a breakout. And after a short correction, I think silver is going to go much higher. And if you understand this, you understand everything you need to know about investing. You don't have to know about interest rates. You don't have to know about currency. You don't have to know about Fed. You don't have to know about gold production. You don't need to know about Ukraine or Gaza or anything else. If you can understand what the mob is doing, the mob is always wrong. Relative to gold, silver is cheap, and if you think gold is going to go up, silver has to go up more. And I will say, absolutely across the board, the silver stocks have been massacred. Okay, the resource market in general, it has been filled with carnage. But the silver stocks in particular, everybody hates silver now, even the silver bugs.
Welcome to Economy Express, your go-to destination for all things economics and finance. Whether you're an experienced investor, an inquisitive student, or just someone who wants to stay ahead in today's ever-changing economic landscape, you've come to the right place. Now, let's get into the details of our news.
Such a shift would see silver prices rise sharply as investors flock to this undervalued asset. In related news, the Federal Reserve has indicated that it may hold off on cutting interest rates in June, despite recent market speculation. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has stated that the central bank is prepared to ignore Wall Street's calls for a rate cut if the economy isn't ready, warning that cutting rates too soon could lead to a resurgence in inflation. However, Moriarty believes that the Fed will have no choice but to cut rates in response to the banking crisis, leading to further debasement of the US dollar and increased demand for safe haven assets like gold and silver. As we look ahead, the commercial real estate market remains a significant concern, with Standard & Poor's recently downgrading 5 additional U.S. regional banks due to their exposure to this troubled sector. With over 9
of last year, the banking system was on the edge of a total failure. The Fed came in and said to all the banks that were underwater, you can give us your used toilet paper and we'll pretend it's not used toilet paper, and we'll give you T-bills and T-notes, and someday we'll end that program, and that'll give you time to get your books back in shape. Well, actually, the last year has not been good for the banks. The commercial real estate market is an utter disaster, and the markdowns on commercial real estate buildings selling have been up to 90%. So the banks were in bad shape a year ago, on the verge of collapse. The Fed bailed them out, and now the Fed has said, okay, we're going to give you back your used toilet paper. I can't see how it could be anything other than a ticking time bomb. The banks are going to start reporting earnings in the next 2 weeks, and it could be catastrophic. It's going to be catastrophic at some point, and the only question is when. The banks are underwater, and someday we're going to have to admit it. Well, here's my question. When you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, how do you do it without your tongue getting in the way? And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to play up we're going to lower crime, when in fact, it's not going to happen. Okay, we have inflation. Inflation is going to go higher. Interest rates are going to go higher. Bonds are going higher right now. The interest rate of bonds is going higher right now. So I personally question the ability of the Fed to lower interest rates. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, the market is totally delusional. I mean, whoever is supplying coke to Zelensky has been supplying a lot of it to Washington and to Wall Street. And the stock market in the United States, totally delusional. And bad things are going to happen. They're going to happen this year. It's just a question of whether it's going to happen this week or this month. So we've got this really interesting situation where somebody's just buying the crap out of gold and silver. So the question, I think a really good question would be, if the United States is effectively at war with you, why would you want to own their debt? And China and Russia are saying, we don't want to own their debt. But then you've got the problem, what do you do with the money? Somebody is buying, regardless of all the technicals, regardless of supply and demand. And I think that what they're really doing is they're shifting from U.S. dollar notes into gold. And gold is going up much higher, much faster than it would typically. I don't know if I remember a time that gold has gone up 7 days in a row, but as of yesterday, it had gone up 7 days in a row. At this point, I would really like to see a correction. And we've got a correction going today, but it's only down like $8. Now, if it was down $50 today, I would say
$900 billion in commercial property loans set to mature this year. Experts warn of potential bank collapses and consolidation. In conclusion, while the silver market has shown remarkable strength in recent days, the broader economic landscape remains fraught with uncertainty. Investors are urged to stay informed and consider the potential risks and opportunities in these volatile times. Stay tuned for further updates on this developing story.